And we're live. What's good, everyone? Welcome back.
What's going on?
You are here with us for a very special edition of Beat the Block Live because this is the grand season finale. I am joined as usual by Chicago's own by way of Detroit, Dope Candy.
What's up?
And newly Texas's own Drox. What's good?
Yes, sir. What's going on? By way of Portland, I'm not going to forget that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to forget where I came from. You know what I'm saying? We might have lost last night. We might have got our ass kicked last night. But still, the Blazers are going to win the championship. You heard? So it's all good. What's good with everybody, man? I'm trying to see what's up with what the chat room's looking like.
Yeah. Anyone in the chat room, say where you're tuning in from.
Yeah.
Give y'all a shout out. We love chatting with y'all.
Oh, absolutely. Canada, we got Ontario, Canada in the building. Riley 7, what's going on? We got Bufo on the beat. What's happening, my G? How you living?
What's up?
And who else we got in here, man? New Jersey, New Jerusalem. Well, that's New Jerusalem. Sparta, New Jersey in the building.
What's good, everybody?
For sure.
Oh, wow, I don't look like trash. That's true. This internet in Texas is so much better than what I had in Portland. This is crazy.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi today, I feel like I've been on it constantly all morning, even though that shouldn't affect the signal, but I just feel like something is like, okay, how much longer do we have to do
this? Indeed. Indeed.
I think we got Will.
Oh, we got Will?
Let's see. Hey, Will.
Let's see if he sounds like a synthesizer.
Mode.
So Will is traveling right now. So he's calling us from Wisconsin.
Some random place in Wisconsin.
Some random place. So the Wi-Fi, I don't know.
He on that 56K dial-up.
Will, can you hear us?
All I hear is like, TikTok. Shout out to TikTok03 in the chat room.
Hey, there you go. What's up?
What's up with everybody? What's up with everybody, man?
Yeah, keep dropping where you're from in the comments. So today, like I said, is going to be the grand season finale.
Yes.
It's going to be, yep, absolutely. It's exciting and it's going to be with Focus, none other than Focus. What were some of you guys' highlights, favorite moments, things that you liked about this particular episode here?
Everything. No, in particular, when we recorded that episode, it just seemed like it was really at a point where energetically everyone was really feeling the effects of the pandemic plus everything that was happening. I mean,
yes.
Which we still are, but it kind of slowed things down. And so having a conversation with him, he always keeps it real and 100%, but it really put into perspective of how to work through how you feel and still be able to create. Like why it's so important to seek your truth and remain consistent. Because it is what you do. It's like, this is who you are, this is what you do. So you have to do it no matter what. And I think him explaining that it's like our job is to really document the emotions of like whatever people are experiencing, and we do it with audio versus with it being like on TV. And it's like you can really take what you feel and turn that into something, no matter how you feel. So if you're going through self-doubt, actually use that to put in your music. If you're feeling afraid, use that. If you're feeling inspired, about something, then use that. Like, no matter what, you should still be consistent and working through it. You know what I mean? So that was extremely important because I struggle with it. I'm pretty sure everyone does. Like, how do you do that?
Indeed. Yeah, definitely like documenting how you feel onto the music was a real important part of the interview. My favorite part of recording the interview was just trading the stories with him. Just like,
Yeah.
just like because Focus is a great guy. He's an amazing person. I shared the story about how I met him. It was at Dre's. I got invited. Shout out Ty Cannon. He invited me. And I told the story. I had to have him, remember the story about how we met. And all of a sudden, all these all these like heavyweights were there. All these heavyweights. It was like him. I mean, of course, Nascent was there. Our last guest was there. My man Fabe, worked with Brent Fayez, VB Borelli, and them. Khalil was in there. Rock Wilder, Cardiac, Marsha Ambrosius from Floetry, like so many heavy hitters. Like I was playing beats. In front of all these guys, like because Focus wanted to hear something murderous, right? That's exactly in his exact words. I remember this. And he looked at me. I'm like, okay.
In the interview.
I had to plug it. I had to plug it in the SSL. Played beats, and then he started playing something that made me feel so. I had to go back to the lab after that. I had to go back, but that helped me get better. It helped me get better. You know what I'm saying? I just use it as fuel just to get better.
Yeah, I think another big thing is like, Focus is an awesome, like, extremely great producer, right? But he explained, the opportunities that shaped him into, being that, like, when he, went and was being under Dr. Dre's wings, you know what I'm saying? You have no option but to be and to grow into a top level producer and, being able to learn things and how to make production sound sonically amazing like it does. But one of the things he shared is just like, everyone's capable of actually getting to that point. If you had the same training he did, it would make you no different. You know what I mean? And so I think sharing that and being humble about it makes you feel like you're a part of that. Like you can actually become that good too. Like, you're a part of you can grow into that. You're a part of the community and making yourself better and learning from it. So I think that was key. I think that anyone that listens to this episode will probably leave feeling inspired and feeling like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I can go back to the lab and actually put my all into it and put that time into it to make my mixes sound great. So that when I play a beat, everyone gets the ugly face and they can feel it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Indeed.
Yeah. It's awesome to see someone. I mean, he's just like so about helping people. And, you can see it with you too, like just his attitude, and so it's dope to see, like, you just get your skills up. And then as long as you get in front of the right person like him, like there are people who are really going to help you, which is dope.
Indeed. He just has the right intentions. He's
Yeah.
just one of those guys, one of the very few in this industry that has the right intentions. Like it's an honor to know him and call him a friend,
100%. Well, with that being said, guys, keep throwing your comments down below. If you have a really good question, the host will pick it out and answer it. So definitely throw your questions down and keep throwing in where you're from too. And so we dive into little like bits of the episode. We listen for a few minutes, and then we do some more talking like this, kind of digest it. So we'll hop into the first little bit right here.
Indeed.
Keep those comments coming.
I'm an analog gearhead and all of that at heart, but you started on the EPS 16 plus, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Okay.
How were you developing as a producer in the early days, and how did you kind of hone in on your sound?
It was a necessity because all my boys rapped. So I think that when you look at a lot of the people that came up with me, and in my era, it was a necessity. Like, okay, you rap, but we're just rapping over drum loops. We need production. And I was like, okay, cool. I was always in the R&B, but it was like, okay, I need to make rap records now. So it was because of my boys, like, all wanting to do rap records and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, I can do it. And that's how I really got into hip hop. And one of my boys in particular, he goes by Black. I went over to his house and he used to DJ, and he had the 12-inch Bring the Noise by Public Enemy. And that one 12-inch changed my life. It changed my life. I was like, yo, I want to make records like that. I wanted to impact like that. And that record changed everything about me. And I was like, okay, cool. That's when I started really getting into it. Yeah.
That's dope, man. So along with that 12-inch, man, Public Enemy, which was one of the first things that blew my mind growing up. You know what I'm saying? Which other artists around the time that you started getting into hip hop, kind of like, gave you that same wow factor, like, yo, this is what I want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. One of my favorite producers in hip hop is DJ Premier. So Gangstar.
No doubt.
My cousin got me in the Gangstar. Like I said, the Bomb Squads or whatever they were doing, I was loving it. Pete Rock, Evil D. I was a big Bucktown head. RZA, I was a big Wu-Tang head. I had all the rest stuff. You know what I'm saying? So just being from the East Coast, even just the Uma, Q-Tip and J Dilla.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's when like my whole thing started going. Prince, what's my man? Prince that did
Prince Paul.
Prince Paul, exactly.
Yes, sir.
De La Soul. So that's where I come from. And it's like the more that I started listening to them and dissecting them, I was on my way to the West Coast. And then, my Superfly, Battle Cat, Daz, Quick, and Dr. Dre. So those were my I need to be like them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. That's literally, you know what I mean, shooting for the stars and landed on the clouds, and you know what I'm saying? No matter what, you're gonna be dope if you aspire to be like those cats. You know what I'm saying? That's ill, man. That's ill. So some of the early records you cut in the 90s, man, before the Aftermath days, man. Let's touch on some of those records.
The first record that I ever did was a remix for an artist by the name of Sharice Arrington. She was on MCA. And
oh yeah,
that was the first time that I ever saw my name on wax, and I lost my mind after that. I was like, I want to be doing everything. I became an artist myself, and I was signed to Street Life Scotty Brothers, and then I just started doing remixes for them. And then after that, it was just like in the 90s, it was literally just remix work. I was working under a company called Grand Jury. And it was Mike Conception's company, and I was a producer there. And I did a remix for G Wiz, and I did a few remixes for them, and then I did a few remixes for Shanice Wilson, and and then I did a song with Black. So that's really where things just started kind of rolling for me in LA.
That's super dope. That's super dope, man. So, like, as a producer, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of folklore, kind of, to tell those stories of the historic studios, you know, like the D&Ds, you know what I'm saying, Hit Factory, you know, Daddy's House. If you in Atlanta, Patchwork, you know what I mean. All the legendary spots, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
What's one of your favorite places to work out of? Although, you know, I'm going to kind of interject and be like, it's a crazy alley-oop to be able to go to the pharmacy all the time, but you know what I'm saying. What's some of your favorite places, you know what I mean, work out of?
One of my favorite places to work out of is home. Being honest,
there it is.
I love being at my house. I love this space. I love being around my children. I love the opportunity to go out and get that love when I need it. That's the only thing I'm about immediate gratuity about. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of my favorite places. And then the next is working at Dre's house, because it's just such an easy and relaxed place to work. Yeah, so it's really dope. He calls it the ICU. So.
That's what's
The
up.
ICU. That's it.
I love that
Yeah,
name.
that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
All right. Anybody got questions? I'm still bugging out on the fact that Focus was signed to Mike Conception. And for those who don't know who Mike Conception is, he's one of the leaders of the Crips.
Yeah.
Oh man.
He's a legend, though. He's a legend. Don't get it twisted. Not just in the streets.
Yo, so what were some of you guys' early records or early moments, like he was talking about in the beginning, that kind of shaped you and really pushed you onto the path of doing music?
Being in the studio attached to my mom's hip. I think that was it. Even though I wasn't intentional about doing music. I just think that because I was around it when I found out, like middle school time frame. And we're talking like being in the studio growing up as a baby kid, like early on. So I was just around the environment 24/7. And like I was telling someone else, like I didn't even know I was in sessions with legendary people. I didn't know because I was too young to know who they were, right? And then now that I'm older, I'm like, oh wow, I was actually around when they recorded this, and then you see it. So I think that was a big part of it. And then when I actually found out that I actually did want to do music, it wasn't until like middle school, early high school. But I know that influence came strongly from me being in the environment 24/7. And when I say 24/7, I mean every day. After school, it was like I couldn't go over my friend's house all the time because my mom would be at the studio all night. So if I went over their house, then how was I going to get to school the next day? Or how was I, so it was like either I'm basically staying at your house or I have to go to the studio. And so sometimes their parents was like, oh, you got to come get our kid. So I'll be at the studio all the time, coloring book, McDonald's, and that was it. So that was it. But I got a chance to see real music being made, real musicians. This was before, not saying we don't make real music with software, but this was before, the FL Studios, and heck, even before Pro Tools was extremely popular. They were using the SSL board and recording on analog gear, and I would call them like my music uncles, people in the industry that was trying to show me signal flow and things like that early on. I mean, so that was like my introduction, and some great studios in Detroit, Harmony Park when they existed, Sound Suite when they existed, Studio A, United Sound, all these great places that artists record at and used to record at. Some of the studios are torn down, but great memories. So
Indeed. I would say, what was the question again? It's like, what was our like introduction?
Records. Yeah, some records or maybe moments that like kind of kickstarted you into doing this whole music thing.
Unlike Candy, I didn't really have a family that had a music background whatsoever. So I really had to like discover everything on my own. And this was around the time when FL started coming out. Like I would say I started making music around FL2, Fruity Loops 2. Now it wasn't even called FL Studio at the time. It was literally called Fruity Loops 2.
I remember
And
that.
yeah, nah, it was just a lot of discovery for me, you know. I was when I started making music, I was actually living in Eugene, Oregon at the time, which is where U of O is at. Go Ducks. You know, not really known for music. You know what I'm saying? So it's like shit. I'm just making music on my own. I started like a lot of young cats do right now. You know what I'm saying? That's how I started. And it wasn't until I moved back to Portland when I started coming out of my shell, networking with cats like you know, like Ilmac. If y'all don't know who Ilmac is, he's the battle rapper. He's also from Portland too. Staple, legend. He's a legend in Portland. So you know, we've worked together. You know, shortly after that, got the songs with 50. Rest is history, and that was just all off of discovering this.
For myself, I was able to sit in on a lot of studio sessions, and ended up doing some drum programming on a couple of CC Peniston records. Just just some drum programming. A lot of her stuff was house music based.
Mm.
So the drum programming was fairly simple. So I was allowed to sit in on a couple of those sessions, do some drum programming on what's that. I didn't even get credit for it. I was just learning. So if I knew then what I know now, I would have insisted on getting that credit. But I was a teenager, so it was just happy to be there. Yeah, man, it was dope. You know what I'm saying? Like being in there with a legend like CC, and then her remembering, and then years later recording with us when I had my own studio. Pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, home is definitely where the inspiration is. Like
I will say, although I grew up in the studio, I was looked at as the little girl not to touch anything. So when I actually discovered, like literally, it was like, don't touch anything. But then when I discovered that, when I discovered myself, I would say, and started to create, I was taken to a house. All I remember is a house and a closet that had the mattress and the booth. That was the booth. So it was a closet. It was a dirty mattress up against the closet. And it was just more or less like someone taking me in, like, let me see what you can do. And I went in the booth and we did a song. I produced the song and wrote the song and sung the song. And they was like, okay, you're ready. And then took me into the studio. And I'm like, I was in this dirty house. But I think that was also like one of those moments, because then it's just like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, the closet, this is what we learning, just those little things, to put the mattress or some pillows to deaden the sound a little bit, or go in the bathroom when you want that reverb. And, I'm pretty sure we're all more advanced than that. But back then, it was in little things that just like triggered, like, oh, I get it. Putting 1 and 2 and 3 together now is pretty dope.
Yeah, no more old mattress in the closet.
Nah.
Right.
I mean, but that was back in the day where actually booking studio time, like we got home studios and all types of things, and it just wasn't, it was like, let me try you out first before I book a session and take you in the studio for that. You know what I'm saying? So
shit, I'm kind of at that point right now. Like I don't really have a studio right now except like the dining room. Yeah. I just moved here, so I got to get this situated. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Well, how about you? You're traveling, right? In Wisconsin?
Man, I've been all over the place, man. Charlotte, yesterday, Wisconsin today. What's that?
Will is on tour. Somebody said they can think
He's on
about
tour.
the
He's on tour during a pandemic. Let's go. Get to the money.
He the only one on tour
And
during the
it ain't
pandemic.
stopping. I ain't 14 quarantined nowhere. I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? I got my mask. You know what I'm saying? I'm social distancing. But, you know, we out here, man. So that's pretty much what it is.
100%. Is there
Win Union Beats. Shout out to you for this point. He says, it makes me think about the scene in Hustle and Flow where Anthony Anderson was stapling the cup holders to the wall and calling it poor man soundproofing. That is a fantastic example.
It is.
Because that actually has happened.
Absolutely. I mean, to be honest, like I've been to really professional studios where they still use those essential things to soundproof a room. And it's like a super decked out studio, but when you go in, you know, they're using all different types of things to treat for different stuff. So you might see some old blankets in there and some old pillow or the foam that's in like mattresses and stuff, all that types of stuff just to get what they want, like what they want as far as the sound. And it doesn't sound generic. It's not like using the same thing everyone else does. It creates a different environment. So
Indeed. We actually have a question on the Twitch stream from Yes I Am Deandra. What are basic essentials for a home studio?
Motherfuckers gotta be quiet, man. Number one.
that's really essential.
Facts.
Nah, man.
Yeah.
These days though, solid microphone, real good solid interface, man. And I mean, whatever DAW you use, it's all going to be kind of integrated, but solid mic, solid interface. And if you can't, soundproof a room or whatever, man, Chaotic Eyeball is a great option.
Absolutely. Oh, don't forget headphones too.
Nico.
Headphones. Yep.
Like I got these hold on, these Sennheisers right here. Sennheiser HD 280 Pro.
280 Pro.
See that? Literally like $70. Like it's totally affordable and they work.
I just picked up a pair Audio Technica ATX ATH MX50s. They pretty deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the Audio Technica M30, so but they work.
Okay.
Yeah, headphones don't have to be
I have
expensive.
the DT770 Pros and the 990 Pros, Bear Dynamics. Those are the joints. Nate on the beat. Yes, sir. Nate B on the beat. My bad. Good call on the headphones.
Yes, sir.
Here's a question. So, I'm sure people got limited budgets. What would you say is the one thing, if someone's going to splurge, what is the one area that they should? Is it DAW? Is it audio interface, something else?
Microphone.
Always, yeah.
Microphone.
Recording vocals. Spin good on that microphone, man.
You can find a really good interface for cheap these days.
Yeah.
But the microphone is the one thing you want to splurge on.
Yeah.
And even then, there's great microphones for cheap too. Like Warm Audio makes really, really good clones of $1,000 microphones for like $400 or $500.
Fraction of the cost, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Questions we got
Wi-Fi now too, y'all. So.
Yep, MIDI keyboard. You can grab a mini one or a 61 key for pretty relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, I had the Alesis like Q49 for like, I got that for like what, $80, and I used that thing for years. I had to get rid of it because I couldn't fit it in my car, but
I
But
found a MPK Mini at Garage. I mean, not why do I want to say Garage Band? Guitar Center. It was on sale, like in their clearance area, and I got that for like, I think it was like $35. So it was crazy. I just walked in there and always browse at like what they got marked down in their little clearance area, and I'm like, wow. So the same thing, exact same thing, cost $149.
Yeah, floor models always cheap.
Yep, exactly. Floor models.
It's all gonna go out, conk out on you one day anyway. Why?
You're gonna have to get another one. True.
Yep.
yeah, Hostile 314, St. Louis, stand up. Your setup is actually really, really good. That is a fantastic setup. You got the AKG C414, you got the Apollo Twin, the Whisper Room vocal booth, and the Sony MDR 7506.
Oh, you got a whole Whisper Room?
You got a whole list of them. That's a fantastic setup right there. That's like
yeah.
That's like more.
Setup.
That's a pro setup right there. You
that's
great.
not a home studio. That's a
you Gucci.
You got a studio.
Yeah, you decent. You good.
Real good. More than good.
Y'all active today in the chat, man.
Yeah, keep them coming.
Everyone's
Loving
super active.
Love it.
1820 is a good mic, man. Like, I mean, and here's another thing too, man. There inside of there are plugins that exist. I know Slate Digital has one, or it's like a microphone emulator. You have to buy the Slate Digital mic, which it's not super expensive, but what it does is it allows you to emulate some of the most historic microphones that are ever used through an emulation process. So check out the Slate Digital joint too.
Definitely. Yes.
I feel like they should be paying us for this too. All y'all that we just
I know. Like,
yeah, man.
Audio Technica, Bear Dynamic,
Warm Audio. Come on, man.
Universal Audio.
Come on now. We up here. Whisper Room. Where y'all at? No.
Brown paper bag to send it to okay, I'm not gonna put my address up.
Hey, we got another one from Almighty Sono XO.
Yeah, I was actually just reading that question, man. So
Me too.
The label, the manager, or the engineer, the artist you're trying to work with. Managers, yes.
definitely.
Manager, yes. If you send to the label, it's gonna get lost in the matrix. Yeah, don't do that. Unless it's a trusted A&R. Unless it's a trusted A&R, do your own research before you send the beat to them. You know what I'm saying? The engineer, I ain't really ever had success sending beats to an engineer. I mean, others have, and I just haven't. So I couldn't really give you a definitive answer for that. But the manager, absolutely, like that has worked.
That's key.
If you it really depends on your relationship with the manager. Like if you got a good relationship with this guy, he's gonna play your stuff for you. Actually, I got an example. My man, Big Doe. Anybody familiar with Big Doe? DHO. It's his birthday today, by the way. Shout out to Big Doe. Happy birthday to you. He manages Luke from Dreamville, and he also managed Little Brother. He asked me like one day, "Hey, send me a pack for Luke." I'm like, without hesitation, I said, "Of course." Like this is like before the Dreamville shit. I sent him a pack. Luke cut like 3 records, 3 of them.
Wow.
And then I got paid for one of them. Don't know if it's ever gonna come out, but I got paid for it. But yeah, it's all about relationships, man. No matter who you're dealing with, man. If you have a good relationship with the point of contact, by all means, send it.
That. Let's jump into another clip from Focus.
Yes, please.
I met Dre through Eric B.
and we were doing a record for this kid named RC, who was signed to Aftermath. It was right after the Aftermath Entertainment thing dropped.
Yeah.
He was one of the first artists that Dre wanted to put on the roster and put his stuff out. And we did a couple of records with RC, and that was my first time meeting him. But I was Eric B's, like Eric B was the conduit, and I was Eric B's producer at the time. And so I just did a couple of records with him, and that was cool. But then the next time I met him, it was direct, and it was such a Godfather moment. Like, you know, Mike Lynn brought me into the restaurant, and Dre's back was to the door, and it was like, you know, dimly lit and all that stuff. And I sat down at the table, and like when I sat down across from him, like the moment I sat down, it was like I couldn't I had the dumbest smile on my face, and I couldn't get it off. You know, and he was just like, man, are you the only time my smile disappeared is when he was like, man, if you ready to work, my face dropped dead straight. Like I'm ready right now. And so he put me in record one. And that was it. That was like, that was all. That was all. After that, it was just, I just showed him that I'm willing to be in here from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. I'm willing to be here 8 days out of the week, and there's only 7 days. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to show him my work ethic was incomparable to anybody. And so that's the only thing I think that's really kept me around.
Definitely. So I've been in record one. I've been in there with you guys, but I haven't been in there with Dre personally. So explain to me like how a session with Dre would go.
I didn't start working for Dr. Dre. I take that back. I didn't start working with Dr. Dre until 2013. So
wow.
The first time I worked with him was for Compton. I never, like, I used to work for him. I was part of the production team. So, you know, me, High Tech, Denon Porter, DJ Khalil, Battle Cat, like, we were all individual producers, so we would be in our own spaces. But the first time I got in the studio with him, it's just, you better be about your business. You know what I'm saying? So if he turns around and he says, I need this, you better have it ready in a timely manner, in a timely fashion. And I think a lot of working with him has taught me my strengths and my weaknesses, and I play towards my strengths. You know what I'm saying? So in that room, I don't have time to find out my weaknesses. I just got to play towards my strengths. And that's what it really eliminated that gray area for me. Like, I don't know if I can do it or what. I'm going to do what I can do. And then whatever I can't do, I sit back, because we're a team. You know what I'm saying? So it's the first time that I've ever collaborated in my life. And that spawned all the other collaborations that I've been having.
So do you think Dre is like really good at finding the strengths of people? Maybe some strengths that people didn't even know that they had?
I think that he's one of the greatest at that. I call him the orchestrator. He's able to turn around and look at an orchestra and find somebody that may be playing the triangle, and then you find out that this person could have played the drums the whole time. You know, he'll push you to your best, and it might be uncomfortable, but at the end of the day, comfortability is not what we're in here for. We're in here to create something that's a masterpiece, and it's going to be uncomfortable. And so I believe that he sees the greatness in people, and if you end up being in the room, you can see the greatness in yourself.
Indeed. Unfortunately, I didn't have the privilege to be in the room with him. You know what I'm saying? But like,
you will.
Oh man, you know, one day I'll get my chance one day. You know, but I definitely was in that room at one point. I remember it was I remember it like it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It was Ty Cannon that invited. He invited myself, Nasa, and Paperboy Fabe to the studio. We walk in. I've met you for the first time there.
Mm-hmm.
I met you for the first time. We gave each other a big pound and a hug.
Yeah.
Who else was in there? It was Cardiac that was in there. It was Khalil. He dropped by for a few. Marsha was in there.
Marsha was, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Marsha and Brocious was in there. Rockwilder was in there.
Okay.
This was 2014, I want to say. This is like
yeah. This is like early on in Compton when we were all in the studio.
Yeah, at that time, man, I was just sending folders and folders and folders of stuff to Ty. And I just remember just being in that room. It's just like, yeah, I'm here.
Right.
I got to show and prove though. And
Right.
I remember you said like I wanted to hear something murderous, and then you looked at me. I played like 20 songs, man. I played like 20 songs. And then Cardiac was playing something, and then you were playing something that was just like, it was years ahead of mine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's don't say that, because I don't like when anybody likens themselves to anybody. Trox, you're a beast.
Hey,
My hat's off to you, and I always salute you. You are a beast.
thank you,
I
man.
think that at the end of the day, when you go through the training camps that we went through, you know how to show up on training day. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you just know how to show up, and that was your first time. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that.
Indeed.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's like, at the end of the day, I
So let's talk about. Obviously, we just heard Trox's moment there, and he shared earlier in the show. Candy or Will, you two have any like experiences like that in the studio with someone, or just kind of getting that kind of moment and opportunity?
If someone asks me to play stuff, all the time. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. It got really, really quiet. Yeah, I mean, once you start moving around, that's what you show up for. The hope to get a chance to play something. You know what I'm saying? Our climate and environment has changed a little bit with this COVID situation this year, but like we always say, me, Trox, and Will, and all of the guests that we've had on the show, we're moving around on foot, like hopping on a plane, train, boat, whatever, to be in an environment to hopefully get, to link up, to network, and that leads to the studio. And what was great about that, and even with the online platform now, I mean, what's great is that iron sharpens iron, right? So when you're around people and you're hearing what they're doing, then you're able to say, oh, and then take it back to the lab, take everything that you've learned to the lab. And then it also creates that environment to collaborate. And one of the things Spoke was talking about was like, that was really his introduction to collaborating, when I feel like now collaboration is 100% necessary. Like, you see about 10 people on one record. I mean, it was like that back in the day too, depending on who you worked with. But a lot of times back in the day, artists had a production team or just one producer that they really messed with. Or that producer, which was like the main dude, had a team of composers and producers that, they were ghost producing. Right. We just don't know it because they didn't get credit for it. But nowadays, it is very familiar to see, if you look up anybody's discog that comes out, you're going to see a few producers on one song, and really that's the key. And so the key is to collaborate, listen to other, show up at the studio if you're invited, come prepared with what you have, and play to your strengths, like he was saying. So if you're good at composing and playing the keys, don't try to program drums when you have someone that's a beast at programming drums in the room, or you have someone that's a beast at chopping samples in the room, or you have someone that's great at mixing and making it polished. Stick to what you do and master that, and you're good. So,
Indeed,
love it. Any questions you guys want to?
Il Brown's on mute right now. Yeah, we hear you now.
Gotta play your strength. My bad. One of those things where, like Candy said, find out, kind of work the room a little bit, find out who's dope at what, You know what I mean? And then get in where you fit in. You know what I'm saying? There's been places. I mean, I've been in sessions where I come in and just take over the room, play beats, and then it's like, man, dude was killing it. Then there's been sessions where I come in and I might just end up chopping a sample or just, you know, getting all the stems from everybody and giving a nice mix down to a 2-track so somebody can write to it. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, collaboration is definitely essential nowadays. And, you know, especially, it's vital. You see people getting placements off sound packs now. So,
Yep.
collaboration is essential. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, I mean, I got way too many stories of, you know, being in the room with famous so and so or this producer or that producer or this artist. So I'm not even, you know, going to run down that, but I will say collaboration is definitely essential, and finding a team of collaborators is also essential. You know what I mean? So if you got some people that you like doing music with, there's your team right there. And like I said, you know, sometimes even when you're like, you know, experiencing a beat block or a creative block, you know, your team could pick you up. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely one of those instances where it's definitely essential.
Indeed. Lakeith Rashad has a really good question right here. Wait, where did it go? There it is. Have you all ever dealt with working on placements and the tedious changes an A&R wants you to make on a beat or a song?
Yeah, definitely. I would say I had said something to Lenny S. One man ended up changing some hi-hats like 15 times, and then we ended up not using hi-hats at all for the submission. And then it was just like, yeah, all right, man, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it actually got stripped all the way down to just like me EQing the sample, the way it was chopped. And it was just like, man, we had about 10 or 15 different versions of the track, man. I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is. You know what I mean? Everybody's, you know, sensitive about their shit, man. So a lot of the stuff is overthinking a lot of the times. So I will say it's refreshing to work with people who just like, yo, let's go right in. That's dope. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah.
going more off the field and off the, you know, the hope of, you know, landing the placement. And that's where a lot of the overthinking comes in. You know what I mean? Like, always remember that anything could be sonically enhanced to, you know, fit someone's taste. But, you know, the reason why you're there is because you bring something unique that doesn't anybody else have. So you may, you know, make sure you stick to your strengths.
Indeed. I actually do have a story. It wasn't an A&R. It was a music supervisor for a licensing company. Oh my God! You think dealing with A&Rs is bad?
They the worst, bro.
Yo, they don't know
are
what the
worst.
fuck they're talking about.
They don't know what
You know
they're
what I'm saying?
about. Man, let me let you cook. Try.
They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, man. I had to make 15 versions of this one song. This one beat that I made for a commercial for a company that which will not be named. For it to not be picked.
They wanted to. That music supervisor wanted to increase their chances of it being picked,
right?
By having you do that. That's why they did that. But again, and it's always people that don't really necessarily. I'd rather you just shoot the shot.
Oh yeah.
If they really want it, like if they really want it, then I'm talking about the music supervisor. If he would have just shot the shot. If they really, really wanted the song, they would have said, yo, we love it. Can you make this change? Versus having you do 15 changes.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy though, because like these guys don't really like speak our language at all.
Nope.
It's a huge like language barrier, so to speak. So I did get paid for my efforts though, which was nice. I mean, it wasn't really shit, but it was just paid for my time. But which, you know, I'm thankful for. But still, it's it's just one of those things. You just it's the ringer that you have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
This is recent too.
Somebody was working on some top lines for Fast 9, but nothing was sticking.
Oh wow. Hey man, that happens sometimes though. It's the ringer we all got to go through, man.
It
It's
happens
just what it is.
to all of us on everything, but I guess the biggest thing is, are you going to waste time and be hung up, or are you going to move to the next one?
Yep. Facts.
So,
Don't be hung up on that. Just keep it moving.
so Cloud9 asks, do you feel that more stripped down beats with space for vocals are better when working on projects for artists?
Yes.
Yes.
For me,
Yes.
yes. 100%.
I saw a tweet. I can't remember who it was from, but it was like yesterday or the other day. When you feel like a beat is empty, that is leaving the room for vocals, which is also an instrument. So, but someone tweeted that when you feel like a beat is empty, that's the place for the vocals. So in most cases, depends on who's producing the beat, but most cases, yes, leave it, because something that has too much going on, artists can't even, they can vibe with it, but then they're like, they can't even put themselves in it because there's too much going on.
How do you make room for someone? You just kind of strip it back and remove some of the instrumentation, or
Addition through subtraction, baby.
yeah.
Those three words are key.
Every time.
Addition through subtraction.
Somebody said, how do you convince your parents to invest in them? Rolex. Oh man. Man, look, parents are the hardest sales, man, because a lot of times they're stuck in their ways, man. Like they only feel like working a job unless they grew up as musicians or were in the music business, man. Like, man, they grow up like, look, you gonna get this job, you gonna go to school, you gonna do this, they have a really distorted, thought, they have really distorted thoughts about anything that's not a 9 to 5. So you have to find, if I were you, I would show them some of the successes you had through the music so far, even if it's just a couple of beats that you may have sold to your friends or whatever. Show those transactions. Like, look, imagine what I could do if I had you guys support. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, parents are a tough sell, man. Good luck with that. My mom didn't really
Yeah. My parents say, yeah, nah.
Nobody jumps on the bandwagon until you're successful, and that goes for everybody, even family members.
Oh, they the last ones.
They the last ones.
Last ones.
They're not who you should be trying to sell it to anyway. I tell everybody, like, your closest friends and family members, they're not your audience. Don't even.
They don't
just
care.
Eat dinner with them, kick it, family time, and then get back to work. Yeah. But sometimes it's a hard thing to deal with because you're looking for that support and that love with something that you do. But you just got to do you to the maximum. And once you start becoming successful, then it's like, then they'll be there. They'll be the first ones there. I birthed you. I took you to school every day.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
When it's flex time,
I taught you everything. When that one come up.
Yeah.
Oh my God. When that one come up.
If it wasn't for me,
that's where it goes crazy. When it's flex time.
Man, you gotta block them out. Live your life for real.
Just is what it is when they say something like that.
Everybody's not gonna agree with anything you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my sister still feel like I should be working at McDonald's for some reason. I don't know what the hell's wrong with her, but yeah, she
Why don't you got a real job?
she
Why don't you work at Panera Bread or something?
get you a manager.
Get that cheddar broccoli soup.
You could even be a manager one day.
Now, one of the biggest
I told her, I was
things.
like, man, take your chicken McNugget eating ass to McDonald's, get a job yourself, then, motherfucker. That's not my face.
I mean, there's so many ways to make
Everybody,
money.
man. I don't care.
I think that people have to change their mindset of money. And then there is no such thing as job security. Then we're in that space right now. Nobody has job security. It doesn't matter what you do. The biggest thing for you to do is to gain skills and education that no one can take away from you and flip it and make it all work for you. That's just it. But you know, do what you love with your life, because we're all going to not be here one day. You don't want to live in regret. So
You're gonna die.
Yep.
You guys think Nate be on the beat? His question there.
What's the best way to get back into the swing of things as far as like getting off of a block?
man, it's the most painful thing ever.
Different strokes for different folks, man.
That's real.
That's true. That's true.
I personally have had no time for a block because I stream live on Twitch and I make beats live on Twitch, and I am liable to make 10 or 11 beats per night. I honestly think having the audience for me helps. It helps because I got to show and prove every night. Try that.
Yeah, do it in front of people, man, because it's like a different kind of pressure and competitive edge you gotta have, because you don't want nobody to call you whack or live on the air.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You know,
I also think with doing it live, because oftentimes we create something and then we think it's not. If you have expectations for what you create, I'm gonna put it that way, and then you don't meet your own expectation, or you don't know that you're meeting your own expectation, and you just throw it to the side, and you can sit and try to mess with ideas and not commit to an idea. But if you're live and you have people like, that's dope, not saying you need the validation, but that one idea that you was about to throw to the side and not finish, so then you got the stockpile of unfinished stuff. Somebody said, I rock with it, and then you like, oh, okay. Like, you perceive it different than versus you being by yourself and in the room and trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's probably the plus of also doing it live. But
also not to cut you off, in order to get out of a block, you have to settle down that ego. The reason why you got to that creative block was because your ego. You're telling yourself that I need to make everything, and it's got to be the illest shit ever. When that's not the case, when you're creating, you should be just trying to figure out how to get that energy out. Mm-hmm. And however it shows up for that particular track, that's just where you were at right there. I stopped deleting beats a long time ago with that very same mindset. And then I'll come back to a lot of that stuff where my ego was trying to tell me, man, press the delete button on that bullshit, man. You better than that. I would come back and be like, yo, I don't know where I was at mentally that day, but that was kind of fresh. I could see I could see what vibe I was on that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, man, you know, even if it's not still in your own way, like, man, this is just not sounding right to me. Save it, come back. You know what I'm saying? But anything you're creating, keep tabs on it. You know, like a couple weeks later, press play on it again. You might be like, yo, all right, I see what that was. I see what was going on there. You know what I mean? So, yeah, ego is deadly to creative. So everything is not going to win a Grammy. Everything is not going to get placed. Everything is not going to sound as good as you thought it was when you heard it in your head.
You're gonna make some trash. It's okay.
It's inevitable. And then the thing about it too is even that's a space where ego exists, because you may think it's trash,
Yep.
and somebody might come along and might be the one break you were looking for, be that beat you hated. That's usually how it always happens for me. Something that I'm like not even crazy about gets picked up.
Yeah.
So it's just wild how it works, man. Like what we think of our craft and our passion is totally, somebody else may totally perceive it different.
Mm-hmm.
So always be creating.
Indeed.
So
Man, they about to kick us out now, ain't it?
Yeah, we'll kick us
Yeah,
out. It's all good.
so everyone be sure to subscribe to Beat the Block. Tune in to all of those episodes. A lot of the questions that we've been answering, I can't talk right now. You will definitely get fulfilled listening to the episodes. And then also, we want to thank everyone for tuning in and rocking with us over 15 weeks now.
Man, been a long
you guys
road.
have been tuning in. Our numbers have went up. Being a new podcast, we're doing great. John, kick us with the numbers. How well are we doing?
Probably top 20% or higher, honestly. Higher than top 20.
And that's because of all you guys, man. We couldn't do this without you guys.
For real.
You know what I mean? We'll be back with even more heat for season 2. You know what I'm saying? Just you guys make sure y'all tell the powers that be, BeatStars, that y'all want to continue to rock with us, and that's what it is.
Indeed.
And before we go, be sure to follow us on Beat the Block Pod on Instagram, and also you can shoot us some ideas. We'll have some collaborations and opportunities available for producers in the future. So with our episodes and all types of stuff. So be sure to tune in, follow us all on the gram. And anybody want to take us home?
Trox, you've been hitting it out the park today, man. Pick it off.
All right, world. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. My name is Trox.
This is your girl, Candy.
And I'm Ill Boogie Brown, dude with the sound, dude that don't mess around and lay down and all that, without a frown. All that.
You know what I mean? Hey, thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Y'all take it easy. Peace.
Peace.
See y'all for season 2.